was looking to how else can I give back? What else can I do for our community? How can I show my children that this should be part of life, daily life?
Yeah.
Beyond just the events that we do here, there, or with the school or in our neighborhood. I thought, wouldn't it be kind of a neat experience if this was what my next year was about? I never would have thought it would happen, but I thought, I can try this, I can do this. It doesn't have to be a big effort all the time. As long as you're continuously thinking about others, even in small ways. How can you give back? How can you show kindness? I think being consistent is a huge piece to the puzzle. And I think it's a big piece to lead your family. Your kids are always watching you. If you're holding the door for the person behind you, they'll eventually hold the door for the person behind them.
It's an art we need to get back as a society.
For sure.
Like, think about other people. You know, we all have our own daily lives. It's busy. We're more connected than we've ever been. But what it's truly like to be human is doing those little acts of kindness that do have those ripple effects that, especially if more of us could look at it with like a pay it forward type mentality. Hey, what's going on, friends? Jason here with the Love Local Chicagoland podcast. I'm super excited to have Mrs. Illinois here today with me. She reached out to us in connection of some other nonprofits that we're both connected with, where we both try to show up and give and to serve. And now we're becoming like really good friends. Tracy Drost is her name, and I think you're going to enjoy her story. So she's a person that lives in the Arlington Heights area. She's a mom. She's a wife, and she's a community member who decided to roll up her sleeves to be able to go into the pageant world to do some good. And the things she learned along the ways and the things she's learning as she continues to go, to me, I think are going to inspire not only myself, but I think they're going to inspire you too. I think you hear me talk about, and here on Love Local Chicagoland, like roll up your sleeves and get into community and start doing good. And sometimes I think we think too much about that or what that's going to look like, or I don't have the time. But if we just chisel into it, the abundance we could see is truly abundant. So I'm done talking, but I'm super excited to introduce you to Tracy Drost here in a second. I do want to give a shout out to Royal Family Real Estate for sponsoring this episode. Royal Hartwig is building a great real estate brokerage in the Schaumburg and surrounding areas. If you need a real estate services, that team is your team. Tracy, I'm super excited to have you on the show today. Thank you
for having me. Excited to be here.
Excited to be able to continue to get to know you. Excited to have you into the studio. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, this is a lie. Like Mrs. Illinois is reaching out to us. I'm like, no way. And then you're real. Like you're like a real human.
Yes.
You live here, probably not too far from me. I'm in a town over in Palatine. You're in Arlington Heights. And I just think it's getting to know you and kind of know where you're coming from and hearing your perspective. I think people are going to grab value from like what you've learned and seen around this journey too. And I hope it inspires people to kind of roll up the sleeves themselves, because I personally think we're stronger together when we roll up our sleeves and we do some work for good. And you're doing that all over town right now.
Trying.
So yeah, that's all any of us could do. But the ripple effect, I think, from one piece of kindness could be life-changing to not only yourself, but to people around you. So I truly believe that. And that's why I think people just need to go and not have to think too much, but just chisel into doing good. And that ripple effect will take care of itself. But I want people to get to know you first. So kind of high level overview question. Tell people a little bit about yourself overall, and we'll dive into some deeper stuff.
I am a suburban stay-at-home mom of 20 years. I've been married to my husband 20 years this year.
Awesome.
We have 3 teenagers. And, giving back was just always something I did growing up. It's something that we've done and incorporated as a family, raising our children. And now I was kind of looking for something else, fulfilling, challenging, new, to push myself a little bit beyond, the comfort zone of being at home with the kids. And this is it.
I love how you said challenging and new. And when we just got in here, we talked about both a passion for cycling, and you were talking about doing a century ride.
Yeah.
That's a challenge,
Yes.
to say the least. So you like a challenge, and it sounds like you want to continue to chisel those challenges to
Yep.
continue to do life better.
Yep.
For kind of get into the first question, what made you decide to get into and go after being Mrs. Illinois? What helped you make that leap?
It was just not a fluke, but it was just something that I thought I would look into. And in doing so, that turned into an application, and then it turned into a series of interviews, all of which I think I could handle, right, in itself. I was looking for something challenging. As I'm getting older, the last couple years, that has kind of filled my years of getting out of the rut of being at home and day-to-day tasks, right? Pushing myself every year to do something else. Beyond that, I was looking to how else can I give back? What else can I do for our community? How can I show my children that this should be part of life, daily life?
Yeah.
Beyond just the events that we do here, there, or with the school or in our neighborhood. I thought, wouldn't it be kind of a neat experience if this was what my next year was about? I never would have thought it would happen, but I thought I can try this. I can do this and give it a whirl, and let's see. And then eventually they offered me the title.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Were you like
crazy.
Pinching yourself like once you got through it? What was that initial reaction?
I was scared.
Yeah, that's real.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was very scared because I've never done it. I've never done a pageant, right?
Yeah.
I've never been a part of that world. So I was humbled and grateful, but definitely scared. I mean, I'm still scared. Like, I've never done this, right?
Yeah.
So.
What I love about it is like you just keep going though. And I think
Yes.
that's kind of the message here is like kind of life is scary. Doing anything new
Right.
could be scary. So you could allow that to define you,
Yep.
or you could continue to lean into it and take small little steps. And the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Illinois,
Right.
right. And you're out
Yes.
in the community and you're connecting with nonprofits. You're doing good. And to me, you're doing other things obviously, but you're doing good, I think is the big piece that I think is so important. You said in our prep that your goal for this year was to research, show up, and learn about your community. What does that mean to you in real life?
I think it means more of learning about my community, what's happening locally, right? How can I help those people that are doing the hard work? How can I learn more about what their needs are? How can I spread their mission, help their cause, show my own family and families I know that it's not hard to make a difference if you want to make a difference? That's kind of my goal, right? Be involved with as much as I can while I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be consistent, I think. That's really it, you know?
Well, you keep showing up. I think
Yeah.
and you keep going, and you go back to like, sometimes people think about like the big picture and it seems overwhelming, but just really about that next right move, right? And things open up, doors open up, opportunities come into your lap by just doing that next right move.
Right.
And I think sometimes as humans, we kind of ruin it because we're anxious about everything when
Yes.
it's really all that next right move is really all you need to be able to worry about.
Right. Right.
How did being a mom and wife shape the way you view giving back and serving others?
I think, again, it goes back to being consistent, right? It doesn't have to be a big effort all the time. As long as you're continuously thinking about others, even in small ways, how can you give back? How can you show kindness? I think being consistent is a huge piece to the puzzle. And I think it's a big piece to lead your family. Your kids are always watching you. If you're holding the door for the person behind you, they'll eventually hold the door for the person behind them, right? That's the hope. So staying consistent, I think, is part of it, is a huge part of it.
So why is that important? Like showing our kids like things like kindness, to hold doors open for people, or to whatever that thing could be that leads with kindness and love. Why is that so important, especially nowadays, to be able to teach our kids?
Right. I think because it changes the whole atmosphere of our community and then eventually our world, right? If everybody tried a little, was kind a little, think about the greatness that could take over there, right? The tidal wave that we talked about, the ripple effect. I think it's important because that's the kind of world I want my kids to live in, is someone that's opening doors for them and then they'll open doors for somebody else. I think that's a big piece.
Yeah. It's to me, it's like, it's an art we need to give back as a
For
society.
sure.
Like, think about other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all have our own daily lives. It's busy. We're more connected than we've ever been. But what it's truly like to be human
Yeah.
is doing those little acts of kindness that do have those ripple effects that, especially if more of us could look at it with like a pay it forward type mentality.
Totally.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
What so if every family on the block did one thing to be able to help, what kind of a ripple effect do you think you would see?
If every family did something, it would be enormous. I mean, it would be unimaginable. Can you even imagine if every family on your block, my block, the next block over was doing something? I mean, imagine the change that could cause in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
It would be huge.
Yeah. Be a tidal wave. It would be a ripple effect. It'd be a tidal wave.
Yes. Yeah. And it's almost unimaginable. But even if every other family on the block was doing something, right? I mean, and what an impact that would be on our community.
Yeah, I think it's that's where we start. Like there's things we can control in life and there's things we can't control. But if we could all start within ourselves and within our homes and focus in on doing good, focusing on leading with love, focusing on paying things forward, just focusing on being a good human.
Yes.
And we get out of this thing a little bit right now and focusing on being a good human, that ripple effect would become a tidal wave in our world, because being locked into the community for the last 5 years, I think I see so many good people going.
Yes.
And so many people trying to be able to make an impact. But we need more people to be able to do that, to really create real positive impact, to be able to create real change as we continue to go. So I love that. I want to do a little segment that we kind of are doing new. Okay. I'm really just trying to break down barriers, trying to humanize things, and really just just get real, I think, overall. So it's reality versus myth. In this one, we're going to be, that is going to be getting involved in your community. I'm too busy. Somebody says I'm too busy to get involved. For you, what's the reality? What have you learned about making time to be able to serve?
You're never going to find the time unless you want to. Everybody's busy, right? You need to want to find the time. You need to make the time. I think that it's more important than ever. If it's 5 minutes, text your neighbor, see if they need anything from the store, bring in their trash bins. You need to make the time if it's important to you, and it should be. Yeah,
it doesn't take as much time as we think. It's just, to me, everything's so fast now. I was just in a conversation with my cousin to be like, do you think we would be living these lives when we were like little kids drinking Tang? Right. And it was like, no way. And obviously this was before phones and the social media, not before phones, before social media, before the smartphone. So the world did feel differently, but there is time, and it's if we made that time, I think a lot of the other stuff that carries that weight for us would actually probably not be as heavy, right?
Sure.
And we would be able to do more good, because I think some of that other stuff would take care of itself. All right, next one, myth. It doesn't make a difference unless you donate money.
Unless you donate money. Well, some things don't even have a dollar amount. I mean, there's value without it, right? Listening, just even caring. None of those cost money. None of those take money to care. It doesn't take money to listen to someone, to text someone if they need anything. If that's bringing in their trash bins or raking their leaves. I mean, it's time, but it doesn't cost money. It doesn't have to. Right? Those things.
If it's not money, maybe time is a big thing. Right. And I look at nonprofits, we're connected with a lot of the same ones. And it's like, they could use your time probably more than they could use your dollars sometimes, to go out for an afternoon and to volunteer, or to go to a local food bank to pack bags or to unload a truck. That time is money to them at the end of the day. So if you can't give money, I think giving time is something that, just like you're saying, really helps us be able to grow.
Time and energy over money. I mean, for most cases, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is, I don't know where to start, so I'll wait. What would you say to someone who wants to help but doesn't know their place yet?
I'm not a good waiter. Start small, just like we talked about. It doesn't have to be this huge mission or this huge challenge you want to accomplish, right? Or this huge fundraiser that you feel like you need to attend.
Mhm.
It's start small. Write a thank you card. Just put it in your mailman, give it to your mailman and put it in your mailbox and thank him for or him or her for doing a great job. I mean, the small things add up. And that's
Mhm.
really the easiest way to start is small, I
Yeah.
think.
So I think it's the best way to start too.
Yeah.
And
How
then
do
you don't
you do it
overwhelm
otherwise?
yourself. You just
Yeah.
chisel into it. Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. Last one, and we'll move on
Okay.
from this reality versus myth. So, myth: one person can't make a difference. What would you say to challenge that mindset?
Well, just like we said, it's starting small. It just takes one person to make a difference, right? Filling up the food pantry bags, doing a collection, you can make a huge difference in your
Mhm.
community. I don't know. Starting small would be the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back to your next right move, right? Kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like just do something.
Something.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop overthinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. All right. Kind of go over the next segment, and to me, when we talked, it was you really gave me the impression of like learning as you go. Like you didn't know everything that you were going to encounter, so you're learning every day.
I still don't.
Yeah.
Right? This is all new. Yes.
But you keep going.
Yes.
And to me, I think there's a level of courage that comes with that. To have uncertainty, sometimes really scary, right? Many times it's really
For
scary.
sure. Yes.
So learning as you go and giving yourself that grace as you go forward is so important. You said you were comfortable before this. Life was good, but you felt called to do more. What made you step forward into being going after being Mrs. Illinois?
I think that comfort is not the same as fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
I think being comfortable is great and it gives you a sense of peace. But for me, like I said, the last few years, it's been more about how can I push myself? How can I challenge myself and learn more about myself and give back at the same time? And that was what pushed me to go for it. Right? I don't want to have any what ifs. As we're getting older, that's kind of something I don't want to. Oh, what if I went for that? What if I didn't? What if I tried that? I mean, I don't want to have any boxes left unchecked, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think since you went into this space and you've done that, what do you think you've learned? Like, what are some things that you're like, man, I didn't know I was going to get into this, but wow, I'm learning this.
I mean, public speaking is huge. If it's very humbling being home for 20 years and just kind of being comfortable in that space, in that role, putting myself out there in front of cameras and microphones. And it's very humbling, but it's empowering at the same time to put myself in front of those challenges and feel like I come off and do a decent job. I'm showing my family and hopefully my community that it is a great thing to challenge yourself and put yourself out there. It's worth it to be able to make an impact or try.
Yeah. It's important. So talk to our audience a little bit about like, what are some of the things that you're doing out in the community? Help us paint a picture of like your kind of day-to-day life as you continue to lean in and learn.
Yeah. I'm reaching out to as many nonprofits as I can. I really want to learn about as many as I can, encourage other people in our community to get involved with them. And in doing that, I need to know what's going on and where the need is and how other families, children, friends can help them. So day to day, I'm making appearances at these fundraisers or volunteering with different nonprofits, trying to just learn more and spread their good word.
Yeah. This is maybe a wrong question. Do you have any favorite nonprofits or any that you're like, man, this really speaks to my heart?
Yeah. So I've got a couple. I do work with one called Gratitude Generation. They're in Deerfield. And that speaks to my heart because when my children were young, it was very difficult to find volunteer opportunities for kids that were little. And I spent a lot of time trying to research that and get my kids involved because I didn't want to wait until they were 10 or 14. I thought I wanted to start them young. And Gratitude Generation offers all sorts of different opportunities, a variety of ages, but not only ages, they offer with different nonprofits, which is hugely important to me and my mission and my platform, to not just be singling out one. I think it's very important to offer opportunities for families and kids to kind of pick and choose what speaks to them, because
Mhm.
that it will ultimately get them involved on a lifelong way, and for a lifelong mission,
Mhm.
right? If you plant the seed young to something that is meaningful to them, they will more likely continue to give back in that way. So if I'm forcing, one wonderful nonprofit and they doesn't click with them, it's not going to make that big of a difference to them for in a lifelong matter.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense to me.
yeah,
How has saying yes to this whole thing changed you as a mom, a wife, and a community leader?
I think that saying yes, I'm more brave. I'm putting myself out there. I'm
Mhm.
showing my children that it's safe to do that and that it's worth it to do that for the difference that it can make on the other end in a big way, hopefully. But even if it's not a big way, if it's one person or one family that I encourage to get out there and do something or give back or, pay it forward, then it's worth it to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really important. We talked a lot about kindness, and I think there was a lot of our story was built up around that, and kindness is important. Kind of we were talking earlier, like if we all just do a little bit of
Mhm.
kindness, like the world can change.
Right.
So you said in our conversation, you said kindness can be as simple as pushing a grocery cart, which you said earlier.
Yep.
Why, in your opinion, why do these things matter so much?
Because maybe for the person that's collecting the cards at the end of the day, they feel seen.
Mhm.
And that could change their whole path that evening or the next day at work, right?
Mhm.
That maybe somebody cares enough to do this for me. And
Mhm.
then maybe then the next day they care enough. They feel so cared for that maybe then that next day, they go and do something out of their way for the next person, right? It's a whole chain reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just little nuggets of being good human and
Right.
thinking about other people.
Right.
It to me, it's like so simple, but yeah, it's
Right.
still not happening as much as hopefully we would want to as we continue to evolve.
For sure.
I think we could all just focus in on that a little bit more. For parents listening, what are a few family friendly ways to serve together?
Well, real quick off the bat, start bringing in your neighbor's trash bins. Go for a walk in your neighborhood and pick up trash. How easy is that?
Mhm.
And good for our environment. Put a little note in your mailbox for your mail carrier or your trash collector or your teachers at school. Teachers need to be thanked more often,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I mean, those are real easy, simple, inexpensive ways to show gratitude.
Yeah.
They make big difference.
It definitely does. And it goes back to it's the little things, and that's a trickle effect. If you're focusing on doing good, or you're focusing on like, oh, there's trash and you
Right.
take care of it. It could be something small, but that it's that ripple effect that comes from that. Somebody could see you do that. You
Yes.
yourself, you feel better because you did something good, and that positive feeling is just, to me, is kind of what keeps life tolerable
Yeah.
and keeps us rolling. You've in our discussions, you said we talked about like you've seen families only write a check, but you felt that they were missing out by physically not showing up. What do you mean by that?
Well, for me personally, when I go to volunteer at some of these nonprofit events or fundraisers or what have you, it's the connections that are made when you show up in person. It's the stories you hear, it's the why that these organizations are doing what they're doing. So yes, you can write a check. Easy enough for some people, maybe not, but really it's the time and energy and effort you put into being there and making the connections that's so huge. And again, maybe that would plant the seed then for giving back in a lifelong way. If you
Mhm.
just are there and hear a story or make a connection. Some of
Mhm.
these are pretty impactful once you're in there
Yeah.
and listening. Yeah.
Definitely are. The stories within our local nonprofits, I could speak for myself, have like completely changed my life because they've opened my perception so
Yes.
much wider. I see that there's a lot of different views. There's a lot of different struggles within our local communities,
Yeah.
but we could start locally by all doing a little bit, by rolling up our sleeves. We could slowly make a difference in creating a positive change for tomorrow.
For sure.
For someone who says we want to help but don't know where to start, what's the one thing you think they should do?
We don't know where to start. It goes back to just the simple, small steps, Jason, right? Like helping the neighbor. Send a text. How easy is it just to send a text? There's so many people struggling. It's Mental Health Awareness Week, right? I mean, send your family and your friends just text. How's it going? How are you doing? Right? Show people that you care.
Think about other people is what I hear you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes a long way.
For sure.
Yeah. No, definitely. So just kind of what you've learned from the pageant experience.
Oh boy.
So before entering, what did you think about pageants?
I guess I didn't think much. I wasn't even certain that they were still a thing, to be honest. I was not ever around them, especially not involved. And truthfully, I think if anything, I was probably pretty judgmental. And this has totally shifted everything about it. I mean, it's been a wonderful experience. It's giving me opportunity to do exactly what I want to be doing, giving back, learning about my community, showing my kids how to be involved. Yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Yeah. Thank you. What surprised you the most about the women that you've met throughout this experience?
Their depth. It's been interesting going to Mrs. America and meeting all these women from all the different states, super accomplished, their depth and their kindness. I don't think I was a negative Nancy before, but I definitely I wouldn't have considered myself like a big cheerleader. And I just feel like being around these women, it could have gone totally the other direction. But instead, I feel like I have, 49 other cheerleaders behind me, pushing me to do better and do good.
They're rooting each other on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's incredible, especially, at my age and, you've done a lot of life experience already and you've kind of made your friends, right? You have your circles. I was definitely not expecting the kind of support. It's life-changing for sure.
Yeah, I hear from other people, like sometimes women fight each other for whatever reasons, but they're just like everybody, like we're stronger together when we support each other and we uplift each other.
Yeah,
right?
It's been wild. And what an awesome surprise to have that kind of support from women who can be the opposite, I'm sure, right? But this has been nothing but supportive and encouraging, and it's been great.
Yeah. What message would you share with other women or moms who might doubt their own potential to be able to make a difference?
I would say talk to yourself like you're talking to your children. You wouldn't let them doubt their potential, would you? I wouldn't let mine.
That's great advice. Yeah.
I think, and it's easier said than done probably, but talk to yourself like how you would talk to your children. I tell my children, our family word is try. You just have to try. And that's what I told myself when I put in this application and when I went for the interview. You just have to try. So you can do it. Yeah.
I love it. Keep it simple, right? Try, move forward, chisel upwards. I love it.
That's right.
What fires you up every day to keep going? Like, I think it's, you had this normal, like regular life and all of a sudden there's extra things that are involved in it. What fires you up to keep going?
The difference that I hope that I'm making with these nonprofits, right? I get these opportunities and I feel so grateful to be there and to help and to witness what's happening with these nonprofits. And then I get in my car on the way home and I'm so beyond blessed and grateful that, wow, I get to be a part of this. They're all doing so much good. How amazing is it that I get to be there to witness that? It's beyond. It's beyond. Yeah.
I think it's flattering in a way to see things firsthand.
Yes.
How do you hope to inspire the next generation, especially young girls? Give me an example.
No pressure there. They inspire the next generation. I think, the fact that I continue to put myself out there, not knowing exactly what I'm doing, where my path is leading, it's courageous. I hope that shows other young girls that it's possible to be courageous and strong and beautiful on the inside too, especially to just keep trying and going for it. I think that's huge.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
So this is up in April, right? So
yes.
Okay. So if let's fast forward to April.
Okay.
What impact do you hope to be able to leave behind? If you had to look back on it, like what's that impact?
The impact I hope I leave behind would be to change a little bit of the pageant perspective, I guess. The whole pageant was not why I entered into it. It's all of this nonprofit work. And I know I certainly held judgment beforehand, and I would hope that perception maybe would change a few minds, me being out there doing all this work. But more than that, it would be if I could encourage one person or one family to spend time in their community, giving back and learning about what the needs are in their community and really connecting with that. I think that would make it all worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. Almost getting ready to wrap up. Just kind of a little bit of a lightning round, a few questions for you. A lesson what is the lessons your kids have taught you about giving?
About giving.
Yeah.
That it doesn't necessarily require planning. Just like I said, it doesn't have to be a big fundraiser or anything like that. It doesn't necessarily require planning. You can do it on the whim.
Yeah, it's probably where the magic happens, right? When you just kind of go. Yeah. Amen. What is a message to moms that who feel too late to be able to start something new?
Again, it's never too late. How would you speak to your children or your neighborhood kids, right? Just put yourself out there. Want baby steps.
Yeah.
For me, it was this application that I, sent in that I didn't tell anybody about, and then it was an interview that I still didn't share. Just little baby steps. You just try. Everybody's continually evolving. You're never stuck in one place. The next day will be different. You just have to want it.
Yeah. Amen. All right. Last question. Before we head up to the little bit of a call to action. Finish this sentence for me. Showing up as your genuine self is.
Showing up as your genuine self is the most important thing you can do. Because if you're not you, who are you?
Yeah.
And there's only one of you, right?
Yeah. And
the world needs each of us.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're all made uniquely, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, awesome. What if somebody wants to connect with you? Is there social media accounts? How can they do that?
Yes, I am on Instagram.
Okay.
Mrs. Illinois America 25.
That sounds like it. Yeah.
I'm like, which one is it?
We're connected on Instagram. I see it. Yeah.
But that's the easiest way to get a hold of me, or I have a Gmail address we can share too. And
cool. Yeah. Do that. I would think the next question is if a nonprofit wants to connect with you,
I would love it.
Looking to be able to do that. How would they connect with you?
Yeah, that would be email or Instagram. Reach out to me, and I'm more than happy. I try to never say no. If there's an opportunity, I try to be there. If there's an appearance or anything, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keep doing good.
Yeah.
You have some April, and I have a feeling you're going to keep going after that too in your own unique way.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
Really glad you reached out and enjoyed our conversation very much.
For sure.
Thank you so much. So my friends, we had Mrs. Illinois here, and we could talk about just doing good in the world and the ripple effect one little action could do. And if we all did that, and if we all look to pay it forward, we could totally shape our world in a positive light. I think that's important as we sit here in 2025 and we look to be able to leave this world better than we found it. Don't think too much. Just do one little action that can create a ripple effect, and through that, the world and our communities could change. So thank you all for watching. Thank you again. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Support local, love local. We're stronger together, my friends. Peace.